Welcome. In this video, we're going to explore one of the most important things you can do as an early childhood educator: build the foundation for lifelong reading. Whether you're a preschool teacher, a daycare provider, or a parent, the strategies we're covering today are practical, research-informed, and ready to use in any setting. Let's dive in. Before we talk about what to do, we need to understand what we're building. Reading success isn't one single skill. It's an ecosystem of 5 interconnected elements, all developed during the critical window from birth to age 5. Those 5 elements are oral language, expressing knowledge and feelings through spoken words; phonological awareness, identifying individual units of sound, like syllables and rhymes; vocabulary, understanding what words mean in context; alphabetic principle, connecting specific letters to specific sounds; and print concepts, understanding the mechanics of how print works, like reading left to right. Think of these like puzzle pieces. Every single one is necessary. You can't build a strong reader by focusing on just one. So how do you know if a child is on track? There are 7 key early indicators to watch for. A child who is developing reading readiness will pretend to read, flipping through a book and narrating as if they know the words. They'll show active curiosity about letters and signs and the world around them. They'll have emotional reactions to stories, laughing, gasping, leaning in. They'll start recognizing and naming alphabet letters. They'll show growing phonemic awareness, noticing that words rhyme or that cat and cup start the same way. They'll begin developing early sight words and printing skills. And finally, they'll grasp the alphabetic principle, understanding that those squiggles on the page actually represent the sounds they hear. These aren't milestones that happen overnight. Watch for them as a progression, not a checklist. Children don't just suddenly get reading. They move through a predictable continuum of reading-like behaviors, and recognizing where a child sits on this continuum is one of the most powerful assessment tools you have. It starts with process awareness. A child develops a basic understanding that reading and writing are distinct, meaningful activities. Next comes print attention. They start actively noticing letters and strings of words on a page. Then word separation, a huge cognitive leap where children grasp that each individual word is its own contained unit. And finally, letter shapes and sounds. Children develop a specific awareness of what each letter looks like and what sound it makes. Each stage lays the groundwork for the next. Your job is to notice where each child is and gently scaffold them to the next level. Let's make this concrete. What do these behaviors actually look like in real life at different ages? For infants and toddlers who are in the exploration stage, you might see a baby reaching out to grab and mouth a board book. They use all their senses to explore the textures of pages. They might hand a book to an adult, signaling they want it read. Or they point at a picture of a dog and smile, making meaning from images. For preschoolers, who are in the imitation and application stage, you'll see them pretending to read to their stuffed animals. They'll recite a favorite book entirely from memory. They'll turn pages front to back, left to right, and they'll scribble on paper, then give what they drew a name. Every single one of these behaviors is meaningful. None of them should be dismissed as just playing. The physical space children inhabit every day is either working for you or against you when it comes to literacy. Let's talk about how to make it work for you. The first element is the book nook. This should be inviting, comfortable, well-lit, and stocked with diverse books. A pro tip: place books near related toys. Train books near the block area. Animal books near the sensory table. This naturally integrates reading into play. The second is environmental print. Label everything. Use an attendance chart. Post signs. When children see written language doing real work in their environment, marking where things live, identifying who is present, they understand that literacy has a purpose beyond school. And third, writing centers. Keep them stocked with thick paintbrushes, large crayons, and plenty of paper. This encourages scribbling, builds fine motor skills, and helps children make the transition from expressing themselves orally to expressing themselves in writing. 2 of the most critical pre-reading pillars are phonological awareness and print concepts, and it's important to understand that they develop through completely different channels. Phonological awareness is auditory. It's the ability to hear and manipulate units of sound, and crucially, it has nothing to do with text. You build it through singing rhyming songs, clapping out syllables, and orally blending and segmenting words. A child doesn't need to see a single letter to develop phonological awareness. Print concepts are visual. This is understanding how printed text works: orientation, direction, and structure. You build it by demonstrating left to right and top to bottom tracking with your finger during read-alouds, identifying front and back covers, and explicitly showing children that the words, not the pictures, carry the meaning of the story. Both pillars must be developed in parallel. Don't neglect one for the other. Oral language is the engine behind reading comprehension, and one of the most effective ways to build it is something called the Strive for 5 loop. a back-and-forth conversational exchange between teacher and child. Here's how it works. The teacher asks a question. What happened on this page? The child responds, they are mad. Instead of just saying good, the teacher challenges. Yes, she's very angry. How should she have acted? The child responds again. She should have used her words. And now the teacher expands on that. I agree. She could have made a better choice by using words instead of kicking. The goal is 5. Each exchange stretches the child's vocabulary, reasoning, and language complexity. It's not a test, it's a conversation. And conversations build readers. Not every book belongs in your classroom, and choosing the right one matters more than most people realize. Here's a 5-question checklist to guide your selection. Enthusiasm. Could you read this story aloud with genuine excitement? Children feel when you're faking it. Appropriateness. Does it match the cognitive and emotional age of your group? Representation. Will the children see themselves or see models worth aspiring to in the characters? Cultural competence. Does the book actively promote inclusivity and avoid demeaning any group? And educational value. Does it offer rich vocabulary, a strong narrative, or factual content that expands background knowledge? A book that checks all 5 boxes is a powerful literacy tool. One that checks none is just paper. A read aloud isn't just reading out loud. Done well, it's a carefully structured experience. Let's break down the 5 elements of a truly effective group read aloud. Start with the hook, a motivational opening statement that captures the children's joint attention before you even open the cover. Then set the stage. Arrange seating so both children and teacher are comfortable and no one is crowded. During the reading, maintain spatial awareness. Hold the book outward so every child can see the pages and illustrations. Use physical tracking. Run your finger along the text left to right, demonstrating that words carry the story, not pictures. And vary your pacing and pausing. Use animated voices, slow down for dramatic effect, and pause deliberately to ask your pre-planned questions. These aren't extras, they're fundamentals. Here's one of the most powerful strategies in early childhood literacy instruction, the 3-read method. The idea is that a single book, read 3 times, can be mined for 3 completely different learning goals. Read 1 is for enjoyment. Your goal is introduction and flow. Read primarily for pleasure. Let the children meet the characters, feel the rhythm, and follow the basic plot without heavy interruption. Don't teach. Just enjoy. Read 2 is for vocabulary. Now you pause to comment on specific events and explicitly introduce 5 to 6 target vocabulary words. This is where comprehension and targeted learning happen. Read 3 is for high-level thinking. Invite children to recall facts, retell the story, and respond to thought-provoking, predictive questions. What would you do? This is synthesis. This is where deep learning lives. 1 book, 3 reads, 3 completely different levels of cognitive engagement. The book closing doesn't mean the learning stops. Post-reading extensions are how you deepen comprehension and transfer it into long-term memory. Recreate and dramatize. Have children act out the story, taking on the roles of different characters. Embodying a narrative is one of the most powerful ways to internalize it. Flannel board sequencing. Provide felt cutouts and invite children to retell the story in the correct chronological order. This builds narrative structure and memory. Rewrite and translate. Encourage children to draw or write their own version of the story. Or, for multilingual families, translate it into their home language with a family member's help. This bridges home and school literacy. Shared storytelling. Pair children up and have them piece the story back together from memory, clarifying plot points for each other. Peer teaching is extraordinarily effective. Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment below with the strategy you're most excited to try. We'll see you in the next one.